Ive, hello. Can you hear me on the mic? Yes, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. And there we have it. It's the end of the season, everyone. Happy days. Well, not really happy days because we like football. However, that's it. Fulham end the season in defeat. Nothing to be ashamed of there at all. We'll run through the game very quickly and then we'll talk about the wider context of what it means. I mean, it means that we finished 10th. We all knew that, but in terms of just the season as a whole, because we could sit here for 20 minutes and talk about the game and individual performances, but in all honesty, because it's the end of the season, it doesn't really seem like that's the most important thing to talk about. Can everyone? Is the mic? Yeah, the mic's good. Okay, right. Fulham losing by a goal. Sorry, 2-1. I'm a bit discombobulated this morning. I'm still tired from the journey back from Manchester. It was a long old day. The sun was shining. I think I'd probably got heat stroke or dehydration. Didn't drink enough water, but definitely drank more than enough alcohol. But let's talk about the football. What a header from Kenny Tete. I did have a feeling that we were going to score and maybe get something from the game. And we should have been 2-0 up with Mitrovic missing a penalty. Before we even get into it, someone's going to ask, should Mitrovic be on penalties for the rest of the season, for going into next season? My answer is probably not. I think Pereira, when he took it at City away, was a good penalty. I think Paulinho could probably strike one in. Willian would be decent from one. Any new signing that comes through the door. I don't want to ever disrespect Mitrovic, but to be fair, when you miss half the penalties that you take in the season, that is quite concerning. However, he's had a strange season, hasn't he? But a good season, and it's not like us winning would have meant we would have finished somewhere else. And because he didn't score, he's cost us nothing. He's cost us one more minute of celebrating a goal and a bit of limbs. It would have been fun to be 2 up at United. I think from there we maybe would have won the game as well. Sancho equalised. Paulinho got a yellow. I mean, it's shock. Mitrovic got a yellow. Bruno Fernandes scored a nice goal to make it 2-1. It was disappointing how we sort of pushed up and he got in behind and chipped it over the keeper. We did all right. Solomon came close. Kenny came close in the second half. I found it it was a fun day in the sun. The inflatable football was bouncing up and down the away end. Yeah, it was nice to see Sasha Lukic start as well over Harrison Reed. That was the change that we made into the team, and I thought that Manchester United did it. After the nonsense that happened in March, was it nice to go up to United and sort of not have to worry about the game? Absolutely, yeah, it was great. And yeah, what does it mean? Fulham finished 10th in the table. We didn't get the points tally record, but that should not be a negative. It's been a remarkable season, one that I'm going to look back very, very fondly and be very, very proud of. City win the league with 89, Arsenal in second, United in third, fourth place is Newcastle. They take up the Champions League places. Europa League places go to Liverpool and Brighton. Spurs not getting Europa League, Conference League, as Villa picked them on the final day, given they beat Brighton. They finished in 7th, Tottenham in 8th, Brentford in 9th. A good season for them, fair enough. And Fulham finished in 10th, mid-table, slap bang in the middle of the table. For a newly promoted team, that is absolutely excellent. Crystal Palace in 11th. Chelsea in 12th. Goodness gracious me. We will enjoy that this summer. And, because with Pochettino coming in now, the chances of us finishing above Chelsea next season may be a little bit more difficult, but we will enjoy that. And I'm sure when I see my Chelsea friends, I will remind them that was a terrible season for them. Wolves in 13th. West Ham in 14th, 15th was Bournemouth, 16th. Forest, Everton survive on the final day with that win over Bournemouth. I'm going to watch match today just after this, actually, just to catch up on it all because so much football and you've got to get your head around it. Leicester and Leeds relegated, as predicted by myself and Joe. I mean, it's not like an amazing prediction, but that's what we said would happen and has happened, despite Leicester winning, and obviously Leeds not helping themselves, going 1-0 down after 2 minutes. It was quite annoying because it's quite an exciting final day and you're not really getting any signal in the ground. You did sort of want to check in on what was going on. However, I was still enjoying. We were all enjoying ourselves. There was a good spirit in the away end. I think there was a good atmosphere, making good noise. It almost looked like a white wall. Everyone was wearing white, and it was great. It was good fun. Everyone had a good time. I don't think anyone would have come out the ground going, "I can't believe we lost that game. That was a disgraceful performance," because it wasn't. I think everyone knew that the thing that I was most looking forward to definitely was at the end of the game where all the players would come over and we'd have one last moment with the fans and the players and Marco Silva and Louis Boumorte, and that would have been really nice. And it was nice. It was great. And Marco Silva gave a massive clap to the fans. What does it mean? He had that talk with Fred as well after the game. We can get into that as well because that was interesting. That emerged on social media. What an interesting signing that might be. Let's go through the comments because there's quite a few actually. So thank you very much for tuning in. We've only been live for 6 minutes and we've got a hell of a load of comments to get through. Always only been one goal by most top teams. Yeah, you're right. In terms of when we lost to Arsenal, I think Arsenal at home was the only game in which we've lost by a bigger margin than won to teams in the top 6. So United both 2-1 defeats, City both 2-1 defeats, Spurs 2-1 defeat, 1-0 defeat, Arsenal obviously 3-0 defeat, like I said, and a 2-1 defeat. Chelsea won 2-1. They're not top 6, are they? No. We won 2-1 and obviously drew 0-0. Liverpool 2-2 draw, 1-0 loss. I mean, very, very good stuff. Newcastle, we lost 4-1 and 1-0. So yeah, in the traditional top 6. How was Courtyard? Very good. I thought the sex on the beach was slightly too strong. And the food was very good. Mac and cheese bites and chicken strips did the job, Jack. It was very good. And I think it was sensible to start on cocktails after having a couple of beers on the way up because I went back to the lager in the ground and just wasn't going down well at all. Well, I mean, £3 Carling, you're never really going to complain, but bit jaded on the way home. We played well and put up a great fight. Looking forward to what signings we make to improve the squad next season. I completely agree. I think that's a great point. It's going to be an exciting summer, isn't it? Where the rumours are going to be flying around as a fly literally flies around here. It's going to be a great summer. Lots to look forward to. It's not like we're desperate that this needs a squad overhaul. We need changes here, there, and everywhere. We just need to improve to what we have, and that we can get better as a team and maybe push up in the table and compete with the big boys again. I mean, it really has been such an incredibly good season that only maybe 5, 6, 7 signings for me would be enough. And we'll see when the dust settles who leaves and who's out of contract. Cabano, obviously, there's question marks over his future, but we will see in the coming weeks. Dan, it was great to catch you in the concourse yesterday. It was fantastic. And like you say, terrific season. Nice to see you again. Delight for Tete, well deserved after the season he's had. Yeah, it's actually quite apt that Kenny Tete gets our final goal of the season. For me, the most underrated, underappreciated player of the season. I know, like when he played at Chelsea away, he was getting so many plaudits for his performance. But as the 38 game season overall, I feel like he's the one who's put in such a very, very good contribution, and maybe isn't spoken about as much as the Lenos and the Paulinhas and the Mitrovic and Willians, players like that. So I'm very, very pleased for Tete. What a right back he is. Kenny won it, so he should take it. Oh, great point. Great point. I mean, Kenny could have taken the penalty, but I think Marco was quite adamant that despite Mitrovic missing penalties, and let's not forget Mitrovic scored a penalty last week. So why are you going to take it off him this week? To be fair, so it's just that inconsistency from the penalty spot for me that was disappointing. However, if we just scored all those penalties, how many more points would be better off? It depends because the Newcastle game we lost, but it's someone will work it out, I'm sure. Christian says, watching on a train full of Owls and Barnsley fans heading down south. That's going to be a huge game today at 3 o'clock. Sad that this campaign is over. Marco and the boys have given us a season to remember. Can't wait for the next one. Yeah, it's sad it's over, but smile because it happened sort of territory this season. Will we be sitting here this time next year and saying we've had a better season than we did this? I don't know. We'll have to see. However, this one will just live long in the memory. And with the teams coming up, Luton now in the Premier League, Burnley, Sheffield United, the teams who just about survived this season in Bournemouth and Forest and Everton. I think West Ham might improve, definitely, given the money they might get for Declan Rice. We don't know. It's going to be a strange old season. I do wonder, as I've seen the early odds, I think we're like 6th favourite to be relegated, but I'm not even going to entertain that sort of stuff at this moment in time. If Paulinho goes, I want Ndidi as the next tough tackler. That's a good shout for a replacement for Paulinho. However, I would like to think that he's going to stay. I have no idea, but given he signed a 6-year deal, for him to only stay 1 year would be disappointing. I know he's getting attention from the big boys. However, we have a long contract with him, therefore, hopefully he abides by it at least for another year at least. I got to meet 18 of the Fulham players at training ground when they were all so cool to chat to. Solomon looked grumpy, I heard he's going to Tottenham. This whole thing about Solomon's attitude, maybe he does want Spurs. I think his girlfriend made an interesting post on Instagram saying something like, wherever you go, I'll support you and stuff. So there's something in that. It's interesting because Spurs don't have any European football next season. So that pool of going to Spurs, apart from maybe their stadium and playing with some better players, would be quite tempting. However, if you're already at a club in Fulham who also have no European football, I don't really, what's the chart? I think he gets more minutes at Fulham than he does at Spurs. And it's not like he's going to Spurs, like I just said, to play a better caliber of football, European football. There's no European football there. So if I was Solomon, I would be reconsidering maybe. But of course, my Fulham hat firmly on. Disappointed with the result, but what a season. None of us could have dreamed of this at the start of the season. A big thanks to Marco and all the teams. See you next season. Love this. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we were all very worried going into the season. Said it numerous times this season, but we've done very, very well. And we've been consistent as well. There's been at no point in the season where we've gone, oh, this is going downhill now. I mean, we lost back-to-back games still at West Ham and Newcastle, and then we drew to Bournemouth, and I was like, oh, that's not good results. Lost 2 on the bounce before the World Cup, 6 points above the relegation zone. Nervous, but then we came back with 3 wins in a row, and we haven't looked back since then. So what a season. What a season. I'm so happy, so pleased. Can't wait just to relax this summer and watch the rumours flow in. Met Paulinho twice. God, you meeting all the players. Met Paulinho twice and said he was staying. What a guy. Pull the wall. Hello, what's your name, Farrell? Hopefully you're feeling better on this fine Monday bank holiday morning. That might be the most Fulham thing you've ever said. I've said a lot of Fulham things, Jack Stroudley. Who's Fred replacing next season? This whole Fred thing was quite interesting when it came out because he could have just been speaking to him because he's Brazilian, Marco's Portuguese. There's a mutual language they both speak in Portuguese. So they might have just been having a chat. You add up 2 and 2 and get 7. But there could be something in that. Marco will have identified targets. Maybe he just saw Fred's performance. Was he even playing? I think he was. And just went, yeah, I'll have a bit of that next season. Maybe underappreciated at Manchester United like Andres Pereira was. He'll bring him to Fulham and he'll blossom. But look, this is just one 10-second video and people are making a lot out of it. But it would be a hell of a signing, actually, to be fair. I wouldn't knock it at all. Is he out of contract? I don't think he is. I think he's under contract. But yeah, well, that's all the comments that I've got through. Oh, we've gone for 15 minutes. That's actually quite a long time. Okay, we should probably wrap up then. So Leicester and Leeds are down with Southampton, Sheffield United, Burnley, Luton in the Premier League. We're going to the Kenilworth Road next season. That'll be fun. Good fun. Fred played the quality pass to Bruno for the second goal. So Fred got the assist, and that got Marco. His eyes were wide open there, and he's gone. Yeah, I'll have a bit of that down the Craven Cottage. Guys, the quick take's been so much fun to do this season. Even if we lose, it's been good fun because we've been in a situation where we know we're going to be staying in the Premier League really for the majority of the season. Thank you for all your support on the channel. We're going to have a Jack and Joe show on Wednesday, looking back on the whole season and looking ahead to maybe some early rumours as well. You never know; the things happen so fast in the summer that I would imagine the season finished yesterday, and there's going to be some rumours to talk about for sure. Not only Fulham but the whole wider Premier League. It happens and works so fast. I think we've got like 75 days until the next Premier League game, which is like the 12th of August or something. So the fixtures will be out fairly soon. It's like an ongoing train. It doesn't really stop football. And then obviously the end of next season, we've got the Euros. I mean, the mind boggles, as David Mitchell once said. When will the football end? It just will never end. And Fulham are 10th in the Premier League. What a season to be proud of. Thanks so much for watching. We can't wait for the summer, for the transfers, for the rumours, for the kits, for the new kit manufacturers. You never know. Come on, Fulham. We'll see you soon.